Good morning, Hawaii. Good afternoon, Pennsylvania, and good evening from a very cold UK. Thank you for this invitation to address the first USMSA Shed Leaders Conference of 2022. So, how can you feel confident growing shed community as a shed leader? My name is Dan Gmaj, and I'm delighted today to be joined by my co-conspirator, Nathan Sarea. Nathan co-founded Sheds Sans Frontières with me back in May 2020 as a response to the increased isolation and mental health issues created by the pandemic. We're both experienced shedders in our own right and shed leaders in our respective regions in the UK. Nathan also carries a wider experience from his former role as chairman of the Board of Trustees of the UK Men's Sheds Association, a role that he was elected for and committed to, as well as being creator of the legendary event known as ShedsSF back in 2015. More on that later. For my sins, I've also worked previously in shed radio and more recently in developing mixed media to promote the growth of shed community across America and the wider world of sheds. Time now to address the importance of all of you, our shed leaders. Nathan.
Yes, thank you, Dan. So the world is a very interesting place right now, and we've never needed sheds more at this time. So first of all, I'd like to say thank you to all of you sincerely for all that you do. I think it's a very important part that often the reward and the thanks is not there no matter how much that we do. So let's just say big pat on the back, guys. Well done. And well done for being part of a growing movement. And you're at a really good place with it now. So for us, our talk today is going to be about growing shed community and how you can do that and how we can help support that for you as a shed leader. So shed community is something which we are really passionate about. It's something which now we find our lives are becoming more based around, and that's why we set up Sheds Sans Frontières back in 2020 with the view to taking this thing worldwide so we can connect everybody and keep that positivity and that mutual support going. So yeah, over to Dan. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. When I spoke to the inaugural Shed Leaders Conference 4 months ago, we talked about how important the success of the USMSA's journey was and what roles we could individually play to help it succeed. Sheds Sans Frontières pledged to join you all on this journey to encourage the spread of well-grounded shed community, guided by an association that would genuinely learn from the experiences of others. As shed leaders, you know that you should know that shed community is already all around us. It exists in every town, city, and community across America. They're just not aware of the name of shed community yet. They're all local volunteers, community groups, cooperatives, and more. But at heart, they all share the common values of respect for your fellow folk, with a celebration of the rich diversity and fragility that make us human, while appreciating that challenges and vulnerability allow cracks into which many can pour judgment, but we should unite in pouring light. The community shed can be a catalyst that helps unite this amazing community power. Put simply, the innocence to some of a community workshop filled with old blokes is in reality a lifeline and guiding force to counter the challenges we all now face in the 2020s. Let's remind ourselves about ShedsSF in action. Nathan.
Thanks, Dan. So ShedsSF in action is one of the things which we've been talking about and developing as a concept of how we can actually get people to understand the concept of sheds. So here's one thing. For me, in 2015, I created and hosted the first ever Shed Fest in our own shed grounds in Denbigh in North Wales. And remember, I'm just one man, but I had a great team of guys around me, and everyone brought their own little piece of magic to that mix. And we set that in motion with a very, very small budget. And basically, it was designed to bring together all of the fledgling sheds in North Wales at that time, but all the local community organisations and support organisations and potential funders who were out there. And so it actually worked amazingly well. It was very well attended. The actual feeling of it was great. Guys got up, took the microphone, told their stories about their journey and how Shed had saved their lives. Everyone loved it. And it was on World Mental Health Day 2015, which was October the 10th at that time. So moving forward from there, I went in 2016 and became a member of the Board of Trustees for the UK Men's Shed Association. I went out to the Irish gathering and had a really great experience of meeting all the guys out there from all around the world, and particularly the Irish guys who I have a really great affinity with. So this began to sort of set this ball rolling for us about how the UK had sort of not really stepped up to its place in the international scene, or it was the association was still in its fledgling phase. So when I stepped up as chair in, I believe, 2018, I then permitted, or shall I say, I encouraged the UKMSA to use ShedsFest as an event to bring together the sheds, but also to begin to unify its position in the sheds community. And it really did do that. And after we got to the point of, I think, 2019, the support and momentum that we'd gathered through those events and through bringing the sheds together and actually showing ourselves as the board, we held the annual general meeting in front of all the membership. So it was completely transparent, and it really did begin to allow things to become more cohesive, and people really got on board with it and felt like the association was there for them. And obviously the world changed in 2020 and the pandemic hit and the world of sheds was severely threatened. And I can tell you, I had to close the doors of my own shed, which had been a lifeline for myself and so many people on March, I think it was March the 23rd. And it was a very, very sad day. And the impact of the epidemic loomed over me personally, and as in my position as well. I did not know what the solution was, but I saw that the world of sheds was deeply under threat. But we rallied around and we decided to run a virtual event of ShedFest 2020. And at the time, Dan and I had discussed previously setting up Sheds Sans Frontières. And so we sort of pulled it off. And as part of us using Zoom to interact with each other and other sheds during the pandemic to keep everyone connected, I pushed for having Zoom socials as part of ShedFest so that we could make it a truly international event for the first time and reach out to all our brothers and sisters in the sheds movement across the world. And we really pulled it off. And one of the greatest parts of the first session that we ran was Mr. Phil Johnson from the US Men's Shed Association. And when this little guy in the corner of the screen, as he got round to say your name and where you're from, and he said, "Hey, I'm Phil Johnson, I'm from the US Men's Sheds." And there was a great cheer that went up and everyone was clapping and cheering. And it was an awesome moment. It was literally that feeling that you get from sheds, you know, that feeling that we come out walking on air some days, and it's just beautiful. And so that was the real sort of magic of ShedFest. So a little mention for me is to see the US Men's Shed Association newsletter and to see the great work that Ruston have been doing down there in Louisiana. Guys, when I saw you run that ShedFest and saw the pictures, it was so like the original ShedFest. That really warmed my heart. So hats off to all of you for the work that you're doing down there. Absolutely awesome. And I really hope that I can make it out to see you guys in April, fingers crossed, because I'd really like to do that. I think that would be awesome. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Nathan. Yeah, my feelings on Ruston too. Fantastic, you know those. And hopefully we'll have loads more Rustons coming up soon, community sheds. Now, you would have seen on the subject of Ruston, I believe just before this piece, you would have seen our little 1-minute promo film. This is what a shed is. We need your help to grow. We hope that you will all be able to use this widely, not only to encourage the spread of shed community and to inspire others to do the same, but also to inform and allow local businesses, community and administration, wherever you are, to dig deep into their pockets and cover running costs and say, we are proud to publicly support our community shed. So today, we invite you all to contact shedison@gmail.com and become part of our global ShedNet initiative, something we've been working on for a very long time, just behind the scenes, just quietly, to support one another wherever we may be. So please do join us live starting next Tuesday, the 1st of February at 7 p.m. GMT. then at the monthly Shed Leader Support Forum to follow on the Global ShedNet, as we're calling it. This will be accessible via a simple emailable link from our mailing list. Recognizing that being a shed leader is so much more than simply being a key holder or a workshop supervisor is key to understanding this rewarding and challenging role. Over to Nathan.
Thank you, Dan. Yeah, and guys, we all know running a shed can be tough. Let's face it. So we're offering our support to support you, to support others in the work that you do. As far as the role of the association goes in these things, to me, it's great when an association supports its sheds and supports the movement in a positive way. So I'd say, you know, the key role for me for an association is to support these events. It doesn't mean you have to go down there and actually do them, but it's nice if you turn up on video or you, you know, lend your assistance to it, you endorse it, or actually even just allow the guys to put their logo in the background, because it counts for a lot. Having that badge and having that logo of the National Association, that credence, that validation is a really important thing. It's a very, very important psychological factor to the confidence. And so remember, it has to work both ways. We're all in this together. So really, this, as we know, is a very difficult time. Mental health and suicide amongst men is truly at an epidemic level in the developed world. And so there's never, as I've said, never been a greater need for our sheds than right now. And also, what underpins that is a positive shed community. That really is the most important thing. So the Global ShedNet is our gift to you for 2022, and we hope we'll see you there.
Thanks, Nathan. So, answer to the first question, how can you feel confident growing shed community as a shed leader? Well, your confidence will naturally come from sharing the experience and expertise of others in our global shed community, dealing with issues and challenges as they arise with others who have your back. We all know that ShedsSF saves lives and should be available to all. So let's try and make that reality more accessible in 2022. Thank you very much.